data production environment in the statistics department using a prognosis-based solution. So some quick history about IMF and prognosis. Like Vladimir said, it started about 5 years ago when our research department wanted to redesign, re-engineer their process for the production of one of our main flagship publication that is called the World Economic Outlook. So that they wanted to adopt a modern solution to the production of the World Economic Outlook and all its underlying data. And they went to Prognos, and together with Prognos, they built a solution that they call the ECOS, the Economic Outlook Suite. So Outlook to align with World Economic Outlook. So ECOS is a Prognos-based solution that provide a lot of features for an organization interested in data production. So from the collection, validation, aggregation, and all the way to the production of dissemination-ready outputs. So Outlook ECOS, this Prognos-based solution, has been adopted by our research department, and more is adopted by our other functional departments, such as the Fiscal Affairs Department, Monetary and Capital Market Department, for the management of all their cross-country database. And more also our area department are moving to ECOS. And in the statistics department, we are currently using we have a legacy-based time series software that's been through a number of iterations, and we are slowly looking at all the benefit of adopting an ECOS-based solution to really streamline our data production process. And just to give some background in terms of our data production, like currently we have a staff of about, it's a small production. We have 32 people that are solely involved in the data production, like collection, validation, and making the data ready for dissemination. We have another group responsible for the dissemination. We also have economists that do some validation. So our time series software has overall, we manage 14 million time series in the various steps of, in a collection environment, in a validation environment, and dissemination environment. So that's quite, and we update about 1 million time series a year. So if we compare that to the production of a statistical office in an advanced economy, it's a very small size production. But for us, it's highly important. It's all data that we collect from our 188 member countries on various key aspects, various macroeconomic statistics, either in the real sector like GDP, or fiscal data, monetary data, external sector statistics. So it's all key data that we receive, we validate, we provide to our area department or to the public in general. So it's highly important, and most important, what we see is that in the next 5 years, we see that volume of data increasing by a factor of about 5-fold. There was this mention of big data. We're not yet going to big data. We're still harvesting our data from national data producer, but we're looking more and more in how to actually leverage the availability of big data, but we are currently not positioned to do that, and this is why we're looking forward to moving our production environment to an ECOS-based solution and freeing up resources and giving us the technology to better leverage big data. So what are the two initiatives that led us to think that there will be such an increase in our data production? Well, first we realized from the financial crisis that we didn't have all the data needed to really inform us sufficiently in advance of what was coming up. And also, as a result, we also initiated what is called the G20 Data Gap Initiative, where we have a number of projects where we're working with countries so that they would produce a larger amount of data to give us more information to better position ourselves to forecast like any future issues or any like really manage like how we will do our surveillance activities. So and as was mentioned, like whether in terms of staff or IT resources, these remain constant. They have been constant for the last 5-6 years for us, and we don't expect to be provided with any more resources to cope with what is expected to be this 5-fold increase in the production of our statistical data. So as a result, we really see that we have a number of things we need to achieve. We need to rapidly position ourselves for the increasing demand, and therefore we're looking at a data production system that would be scalable and allow us to free up resources to do other activity. We need also to increase the timeliness. It was referred to velocity. Increase the timeliness at which we make available the data and metadata. They have to come in the morning and be available to our users in the afternoon, whereas now it takes anything between 3 days to 2 weeks. So that's really an issue. So we have to find and adopt a system that will really make it much faster to deliver the data to our consumer. And we need to reduce incidents of data or metadata errors. So we need to have a validation system that is much more error-proof than the current one. So I also mentioned the importance of having scalable operations, because like in our current legacy system, any developing or setting up any new database for any new product and putting any new validations require us to ask the IT specialist to set up the database. So it really does not empower our users. Like I need my staff to set up quickly in a matter of a couple of days to set up a new database for a new data product. And whereas now I need to set up IT request, discuss requirements, setting up. So it's all extremely costly in the current environment. So I need to adopt a standard procedure in which for which to set up my database, a generic production process. So what we see from the ECO solution is that we can really, it really provides us with the technology and the metadata and work practice. Like it allows us to set standards and use the solution to implement these standards in an easy way. If we're doing that properly, what we're looking at is actually reorganizing our operations. Right now, the way we're set up is sort of like a much more in a silo operation, which is the approach that has been used for years in statistical offices. So we have an expert in one domain, for example, experts in fiscal data that collect the data, validate the data, prepare them for dissemination. And we have another set of experts in real sector statistics that do the same. So it really is a slow process. Of course, we have these experts, but in terms of the speed of production, it really reduces the ability to be much more agile. So the setup we're looking at is much more a workflow setup, where we would have like sort of 3 teams. A team really responsible for the collection of the data. And when I say collection, I'm thinking much more beyond the simple reporting of data, where a national office or a central bank sends us the data and we process the data. We're developing a data collection system that is much more agile and will allow us to collect data in any sort of form that's available, including harvesting big data. And then we would have the production system. Production such as which includes like the validation, all the various steps of validation. So we would have this group of experts that would really push the data from reception all the way to being ready for dissemination. And then the third team would be a team for content delivery. This team would specialize in adopt and in the implementation of visualization, analytical package, or prepare the data for different type of users, either the high expert, the expert who wishes to download the full database, to the users that's only looking for the key aspect, key points, and want data that are charts that he can immediately download and put in his presentation. So we would have these three teams that would be responsible for delivering the data, and it would be supported by a fourth team, which is the standard processing technology team, which would ensure that all the team adhere to our set of standards, which would really facilitate implementation of a workflow process in the production of the data. And each of them would have operational independence. So collection, production, content delivery would work separately, but this would be integrated in the workflow through generic interfaces between each of the operational team. So very simply put, you would have these three teams specialized in the three aspects of the data production and supported by standard processes and technology team. And between each of the three steps, there would be a set of interfaces that allow the easy flow of the data. So this approach is really made possible by the eco solution that we've been developing with Prognos during the last 4 or 5 years. At the moment, we don't see the need to really make any modification. We didn't find any gaps that need to be filled using the Prognos solution to implement this. So it's really a matter of, for us, to incorporate to put our data into this ECOS platform and to prepare the various reports that would support the integration of the workflow. The only development we're doing is on this collection module, which we'll build in-house. So which will support any type of harvesting of data, and the interface between the collection